help you?
What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions.
Take a look around you. What you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles.
What you see is just. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions.
Take a look around you. What just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them. They treat us like subhumans. Take a look around.
I don't think them is going to play.
Meal. Is the Earth flat?
We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Meal. Is the Earth flat?
We have video from of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
What's odd is there are people who think Earth is flat,
Right.
but recognize that the moon is round. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the sun are all spheres, but Earth is flat. That's not, something doesn't square.
Something doesn't jive, right?
Okay. Plus, in my latest book, ooh, did I just plug my
Wait,
book?
your latest book is called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. What? We just happen to have a copy right here.
No, it just happens to. I swear we didn't plan the book. I have an entire chapter titled On Being Round. And it's an exploration of how all the laws of physics and the accounting of energy as processes unfold in the universe, how that conspire to make things round.
So it favors the sphere.
Favors a sphere, yes.
Right.
And if something is not a sphere, it's a little bit flattened, you can ask what flattened it, and you find out, oh, it's rotating real fast.
Right.
So then it gets a little flattened because of that.
Right.
And so almost everything in the universe is either spheres or slight distortions of a sphere for some other thing that's happening to it. I mean, we can just see how the universe favors spheres.
So it's nature.
Right.
Basically,
nature.
the universe.
In all fairness to the people who want a flat Earth.
Yes, let's be fair to those people.
In Columbus's day, there was surely a flat Earth contingent.
help you. Is the Earth flat?
We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Okay. Already contradiction. No problem, fam. How's my audio? Can y'all hear me? Hey, can y'all hear me? How's my audio? You welcome. You welcome, sweetheart. But but can y'all hear me though? Okay, audio's good, good. So continue. Now, just many months ago, or many whiles ago, he said that it is an oblate spheroid. But right here, he automatically comes on and says, we have video footage of a spherical Earth.
Let me help you. Is the Earth flat?
We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round.
Thank you for joining us on this episode.
Did y'all hear that though?
What's odd is there are people who think Earth is flat,
Right.
but recognize that the moon is round. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and the sun are all spheres, but Earth is flat. That's not, something doesn't square.
Something doesn't jive, right?
Okay. Plus, in my latest book, ooh, did I just plug my book?
Your latest book is called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. What? We just happen to have a copy right here.
No, it just happens. I swear we didn't plan the book. I have an entire chapter titled On Being Round. And it's an exploration of how all the laws of physics and the accounting of energy as processes unfold in the universe, how that conspire to make things round.
So it favors the sphere.
Favors a sphere, yes.
Right.
And if something's not a sphere, it's a little bit flattened, you can ask what flattened it, and you find out, oh, it's rotating real fast.
Right.
So then it gets a little flattened because of that.
Right.
And so almost everything
So
in the
now,
universe
so which
is
one?
either spheres or slight distortions of a sphere for some other thing that's happening to it. I mean, we can just see how the
So
universe,
which one is it, fuckface? Is it spherical or is it flattened? Which one is it? I mean, really?
So it's nature.
Right,
Basically,
nature.
the universe.
In all fairness to the people who want a flat Earth.
Yes, let's be fair to those people.
In Columbus's day, there was surely a flat Earth contingent. Okay?
Yes.
Columbus predates the era of experimental checking of any idea you might have.
Not a lot of peer-reviewed studies.
Y'all would like to stay today because we're finna go in on this. We finna use what you see in the title. Yeah, we finna go in today. Here, while I'm letting this play, I'm gonna set up another watch page. I'm set up a watch page.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Kind of just like
you just say whatever you felt.
You know what? I believe that elephant poop will cure cancer.
There you go.
That's right. Wrote a paper about it. Like to read it? Here it is.
And look at this reject from BD's comic view, where he got his start from. And he just been this puppet. This guy's probably believing everything he say, cause you can tell he's throwing words in there to make it sound good. He's doing a lot of wordplay. And this guy is really the enemy that's just gonna keep on, using that to call us stupid for not listening to what he's saying, even though he believes what he's saying is true.
So it wasn't until Francis Bacon, Galileo, 1600s, where the idea that if you're going to say something and you think what you're saying is true, then no matter how obvious you think it is that it's true, you should still test it.
Gotcha.
There could be something fooling you in one way or another. So if you want to say Earth is...
With that said, how come you haven't how come you haven't tested for curvature? How come curvature can't be tested, um, measured, or observed? If y'all just joined in, go ahead and I got the details of today. Excuse me. Um, I left the links in my gaming channel. Yes, and the description of this, I also left the description. This is what we're going in today, according to science. So you might want to read the description and see how we're gonna apply the definition to what this boy right here is saying. Yeah, we're going to go in. Just give me a second. I will actually.
Then, for example, lunar eclipses. What's a lunar eclipse? If your face is the brilliant sun,
Thank you.
and this is Earth, and the moon is over here, the sun is always casting Earth's shadow into space. It's always there.
Go on and like the video,
Obviously.
share the video,
Okay. It's just a
tweet the
shadow.
video.
The moon
It's just a shadow
occasionally,
shining on blackness.
a shadow in darkness.
A shadow in
So
Yeah, if y'all didn't hear me, go ahead and mute the video and everything. Excuse me, not mute the video, but like the video, share the video. Oh, really? Okay.
So the moon occasionally passes through that shadow. And if you see the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon, it is always round. Always round. If Earth were flat, sometimes you get like a flat shadow.
Right.
And we've never seen a flat shadow.
Right.
In fact, it is a segment of a arc of a circle, no matter the orientation of the moon and the sun. And the only thing.
And shout out to Master Peace for providing an experiment to prove what he's saying is wrong. Because if the shadow would never look flat, because if the shadow was cast on a spherical object, the shadow would stretch. It would stretch to fit the whole object that's being shadowed. Duh. It's common physics of light and shade, ass fuckface. And then they wanted to make it buff because I'm going in on them. Oh. Let's see if it'll stop buffering eventually. Oh, you're not getting out that easy, boy. It always gonna start over. We're not going through that.
We have video.
Where was it at, fam? All these gloves, how I felt. Right, right. My parents owned a pizza shop when I was growing up. I never saw
Here it is.
spinning
Right,
dog.
right. So
Right.
till Francis Bacon,
Might be
Galileo,
anything that is
1600s,
spinning
where the
will
idea
form
that
a flat
if you're going to
shape,
say something
a
and you
flat shape
think what you're saying is true,
Right.
then no matter how obvious you think it is that it's true, you should still test it.
Gotcha.
There could be something fooling you in one way or another. So if you want to say Earth is flat, then, for example, lunar.
All right. Let's see. And I really wanted to present this video too before, you know. Uh, oops. Give me a second, fam. Did I do it? All right. Now let me see what's up with this. You're right. All they have are fallacies. Look like it doesn't want to play.
And the two cities in the old world, and one of them, they knew that on a particular day of the year, that the sun was directly overhead and you could see the bottom of a well.
Oh, okay.
You don't run around looking at the bottoms of wells.
No.
don't know what's up with this thing, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and open the panel though. Let me know. Let me know if the link working or not. Okay. All right, give me a second, fam. Yeah, I want to. All right, I'm sending the link out, fam. All right. This should do it. This doesn't seem to want to play, man. Let me know if that link works, though, fam. All right. So what's good, fam? How y'all doing out there? I decided to go ahead and try to go in part two, you know. So I guess until if somebody, I went on put the link out there. I guess until somebody joins or whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where we left off. Last time we left off, we was talking about the conservation of mass and the conservation of energy, which proves that none of this stuff that was really ever created from the get-go. So we're gonna go in and really look in detail. But I definitely need some people up here on the panel, so I won't have to build by myself. So can we see how can land flatten though? I mean, how can you flatten land? It's already flat. The way he was saying it, does he even know what the fuck he be talking about? I mean, seriously. Empress Lou, what's up, Mamacita? Well, hey, I'm late getting started anyway, so you good. You good, you good. Te llamo mucho, Empress Lou. Uh, te llamo mucho. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's cool. I need something to eat though. Smash this cupcake. How y'all been out there? Back at you. James Bell, you want to join the panel, man? Let me send a link to his Facebook. Um, If I can follow that. Anybody still out there? Oh shit, what's my next one? Yeah. Nope. Wrong page. Oh, it's the right page. Excellent. Uh, Yo, James, if you still out there, check your messenger. I'm about to send you a link to your messenger. Okay. is that? Oh. Okay. Oh. Yeah, let me start back over because we just went off air for a bit. So now I gotta
Okay.
yeah. So hold on, let me get us back up streaming.
Okay.
No, I mean this one. I mean, this like it just happened. So yeah, I imagine it's gonna be a little bit.
Everything's acting pretty slow right now. I'm using my OBS though. That's why you don't see my camera. I'm using the OBS. You hear me? JB.
I was muted for a second, but yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
I see your avatar, your picture, but I don't see any. Oh,
Yeah, that's cause I got my camera with OBS using my camera.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So are we the only two on the panel so far up to this point?
Say what now?
Are we the only two on the panel up to this point?
Yeah, for right now, yeah.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I need to make sure. I finna make sure that we still streaming though.
Okay. What's over here?
Let me see. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We good, fam.
I hear it. Have you already put the cranberries note in there yet?
What you talking about?
Okay. All right. Okay. That's what's up. Oh my bad.
Okay. I'm just checking everything real quick. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm back. So what's good, fam?
Hello? You here?
Huh?
No, nothing. Just finishing up my little shift at work before I'm able to really focus all my energy on later on.
That's all you can do, right?
Say again?
So yeah, that's all you can do, ain't it?
Oh yeah. But I can always keep it here because I work in the kitchen, so
Where exactly do
prepping or something, I'm good.
Where exactly do you work at?
It's a restaurant called Buck's Fine Dining Restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky.
This sounds pretty good. Just a name interests me.
Huh?
So that sounds pretty interesting. Just a name interests me.
Oh yeah. We open for lunch and then we close down for 2 hours and we're open for dinner from 5 until 10. But it's really elegant. There's no TVs up front. It's just straight one-on-one with your guest or whoever you're with as far as reservations go. So it's really, we have a piano musician player that plays every night.
Is it like a kind of not quite exotic restaurant or a barbecue restaurant or soul food? What type of food y'all sell?
It's fine dining. Fine dining like scallops and filet mignon, salmon,
Okay,
pork chops,
like Old
all that
Charlie's,
stuff like that.
like Old Charlie's. Okay.
Bacon wrapped shrimps, and we do a lot of We do a lot of interesting dishes.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean,
I'm about to
it's a
go.
little bit more dumbed down for lunch. Of course, it's not as sophisticated, but you know, and we solely go on reservations. I mean, we do have walk-ins during lunch, but 9 times out of 10 for dinner is who we made reservations.
Hold on, let me.
Where are you located at?
I'm in Tennessee, fam.
Oh, you right down the road then, man. I seen that
Yeah,
Tennessee Titan, so
that's why when you said Louisville, I
you
was
right
like,
outside me, man.
right.
I was down in Nashville about a month ago.
Like when you was in Louisville, that's why I was like, right.
Well, you ain't nowhere from me, bro. I was just in. Are you in Nashville or
No, I'm
somewhere
in
near there?
Clarksville.
Okay, I never heard of that.
I'm only
Yeah,
about
I
three.
went to
I'm
some.
only about 3.5,
I
four
went
hours.
to.
I used
Huh?
to. I'm only about 3.5, 4 hours. I used to pass through Louisville all the times I went through. All the times I went to Indianapolis, Naptown.
That's where I'm from. That's where I'm originally from there. I was born and raised there.
Yeah, I had a cousin that used to live on 38 in Georgetown.
Okay, yeah, I know exactly where you were. Georgetown Road, out there by Lafayette Square Mall
Yeah,
and
the
all
freeway.
that.
By the freeway.
I know where you were at.
Yeah.
You said you was burning up Highway 65, I see.
Well, I went to the expo a few times. Ain't gonna brag about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my stomping grounds, man. I was born and raised out north out there.
Yeah, I never wanted to
And
come home. It was so active up there. I never wanted to come home when it was time to go.
yeah. But between the killings and the potholes, a lot of people don't want to be around there.
Say what now?
I said between the murders and the potholes that are in the street, people are trying to get away from there. We got probably one of the worst pothole problems in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But yeah.
Trying to, but yeah, we got to go in. Let me grab a mic real quick.
Yeah, you know where you know where downtown Louisville is, right?
Yeah, I passed over the.
Yeah, I'm just
I always, I
well, what I
always
was
go over
saying.
the
I'm
bridge. I
just
always go
right
over the
before you
bridge.
go over the bridge. I'm like just
I
south
always go
of
over the
downtown.
freeway.
So I'm like 8 minutes away from downtown walking.
Yeah. Hold on, something wrong. Your mic sound too loud. Let me cut you down real quick. I always went
Okay.
over the freeway that goes by the dome.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
higher one,
exactly.
the highest one
I'm
up.
just saying before you. All I'm saying is before you go over to Indiana, I live right before you get to the bridge. Right before you get downtown, coming from the south, is where the area where I stay at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like right here off 65. So we're all in the same vicinity though. It's pretty cool. And where's Bro
Sparking
at?
up the
Ain't Bro
day.
Sanchez like way out west somewhere?
He in Vegas, but I think Sanchez is originally from Alabama.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I see him wearing that Alabama a lot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I got a couple relatives from there too. So it's a small world, of course.
Right, right.
Like you said, just being with like-minded people is what everybody would actually like to be around. You know what I mean? People
Of course, people with
that
positive
have the
vibes.
same views.
People with positive vibes.
Sure. Hello, Mark. I ain't seen her in a while. Yeah, I'm gonna be leaving out of here about 3 o'clock. Like 2:30.
Yeah, man. How long you been living in Louisville? Did you hear me? I said, how long have you been living in Louisville?
Oh, I've been here I came down here in 2010. I left Indianapolis and came down here in 2010. So I've been down here for 7 years, man. I worked on a university in Louisville. I worked there for 4 years, and then I left there and came to this restaurant where I'm at now. I've been here for going on 4 years now. So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I've been. So I did a lot of stuff up in Indianapolis, moving companies, and I graduated from North Central up there. I just a lot of part of my life is in Indianapolis. So
Mm-hmm. I can read every time. It's funny. Yeah, shit. You probably knew. So how long you been? How new are you to YouTube? Like how long you been on YouTube? You there, James? Hello, James. What happened? If you can hear me, I can hear you. You probably have to drop out and drop back in. Drop out and come back in. Diego lived in Florida for fans. Damn, it's pretty good. Cal, old as fuck. I don't know what. I guess he'll come back. Oh yeah, I guess he'll come back.
I'm back on. Am I back on? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back.
This is so you've been there for a minute, huh?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Let me get my food right. Ooh, that's hot. All right. I'm running back and forth out the kitchen so I can, you know what I'm saying, so my popcorn won't burn. You hear me?
I can hear you.
I
When you say I
I'm
can hear
running back and
you, you
forth.
say
I'm running back and forth out the kitchen so my popcorn won't burn. But we're gonna go in on science though.
we're gonna go in on what?
I said we got to go in on science in here in a second.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up my little area and shutting down my spot. I can free.
All right.
Uh,
All right then, Sean G. Thanks for coming. See you later. You know, I might be on for a couple. Of course, yeah. I'm cooking popcorn. So that's how you say cooking. Okay. Yeah, I'm cooking popcorn. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring this. Let's go ahead and pick up on conservation. Protection, restoration of the natural environment. It might not even be here. Let me see. Oh, hold on. Physical, there it is. Okay. Found it. So, let's stay on with the, hold on. Hold on, I just started.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my.
I'm gonna bring you $5.
Before I actually bring up this article.
You said I'm gonna bring you $5 on it. So you fine. Okay, let me go get a bag of you.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, well, my bad.
Yeah, you good.
I didn't want to. I'm gonna be using my mic.
No, I'm saying, but
interfering.
No, you good.
Okay.
I think now I'm gonna go ahead and get my popcorn out the stove first because it cooks fast. Popcorn cooks fast. Yeah. Yeah, that way I can sit down and not have to worry about keep getting back. Yeah. I'm going to get myself right. Get myself right.
I'm gonna get that fire downstairs, but you know I got you. Okay.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what's going on. There.
Yeah.
It's almost done, fam.
Heard.
So you say you went to the University of Louisville. What did you study?
I worked there. You said talking about
Oh, okay.
me?
Yeah.
Or somebody else?
No, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I worked there. You.
Yeah, now you
talked
don't
to
hand this
you
with
as well.
Hold on, let me do a small roll call. That you know what I'm saying. We got James Bell on the panel.
Yes, sir.
Then you know what I'm saying. I see shout out to Elizabeth 98D, Empress Luz, Shine G, Spherical Cow up in there. P900. P900 showed up in the building.
P900.
I wish that video would play.
Right, I heard that.
I said, yeah, I wish that video was playing because He said some really, really dumb stuff.
I'm sure he does. Once you start seeing how it's like they just keep trying to continue to lie when they know they lying. It's like they just making up shit off the top of their head.
What I'll probably have to do, I'll probably have to play it on my phone. Yeah, we're gonna go in on that.
Yes, sir.
You gotta go in on it, man.
Out the gate. I ain't even tripping.
So how long you been a truth seeker?
What you say?
I say, how long have you been a truth seeker?
I want to say, I'd say about a year and a half to 2 years. Close, somewhere in there.
It's just around 2 years for me.
Yeah, I've been in it we're probably close to the same thing, man. So, and it was just because, like you said, you started seeing different things that, shit, I'm 42 years old, so, there's a lot of things that, after 42.
I said, you the same age as my brother.
As
I
who?
kind of figured that when you said that, you said you was doing something. I know I said that you lived in Louisville for about 7 years, so I kind of figured something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I figured that, you know what I'm saying, you was pretty up there.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with everything.
The what?
I'm pretty familiar with things up in Louisville now.
Mm-hmm.
But I've stayed in Norfolk, Virginia. I've lived in San Diego, California. Fucking LA for a little bit. I've been both coasts.
You alright?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes, sir. Yeah. But yeah, truth or just like I'm saying, like one neighbor. I mean, for all the things that's been going on in the government, and then they're giving you a decision to make us think, oh yeah, I know they're not all the way 100 on this, but still have faith in them. Yeah, no, it's like, wait, either you're going to be for them or against them, and they've done too much.
Right.
Get to it, it's like, whoa.
I cough sometimes, and now I don't even sick. I cough a lot, and I don't even be sick. It's a dirty ass air, and it's raining a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Dirty rain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess that's what equips us with all the tools that we need to go against these people, because I guess they just like you said, they already look at you like you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? They're like,
right.
Oh, they don't know. Yeah, they don't know. It's like, whoa, where did they already assume that we had no knowledge of what we go through, what we do? Yes, me.
Mm-hmm. So
I hadn't got your text until yesterday.
You know who it was, dude?
Yes, me. Yeah.
I didn't know you never texted your anything, so I didn't know who it was. I was going to answer the door.
That's it. I know it. But I had just got something, so I was like, let me shoot on them before I go back. So you say either Tuesday or Wednesday? Or Wednesday, Thursday? Okay. All right, talk to you then.
I'm consumed no dairy, so it should be gone.
Yeah.
This was up. I tried to be. I'm responding. I'm answering, talking to the chat. I tried to be a vegetarian for 15 days. But I mean, I tried. I tried it out, really tried to commit to it, but it only lasts 15 days. Dude, because I kept on feeling weak. No matter all the vegetables I ate, I wouldn't get full, so I would have to, kind of consume more and more and more. And I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
I really didn't know, couldn't find no meat substitutes, so.
Yeah, I'm going upstairs. I'm about finished today. I'm about
There's
finished with
something,
today's.
look,
Yeah, it's really convenient for me because I live 4 floors above my restaurant.
this morning,
Uh-huh.
I mean, not this morning, just a little while ago, about 2 hours ago, I had what I did, it was noon. Yeah, it was noon and the sun was up. The sun wasn't even in the middle of the sky.
Mm-hmm. And you've seen the moon also.
No, I did see the moon this morning about 5 o'clock this morning, 5 something this morning. It looked like it was being eclipsed about something. But
Yeah.
but the sun,
Mm-hmm.
it was noon and the sun wasn't even in the middle of the sky.
Wow. That's crazy.
And don't remind you that the time just went up an hour.
It sure did. It sure
Yeah.
did. And that's another thing that gets me where they can just, of course, man made the time, they didn't make the duration of the time, they just put numbers around it so they feel they have the power to bump and set back hours, man. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That is just so ridiculous to me that they say that we'll bump up an hour so we'll get an hour more of daylight. They weren't doing it back in our ancient ancestors' days. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Where they're bumping up and taking back hours. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To fit their agenda, bro. That's how it is.
Right. They because a long time ago they used nature as a natural clock.
Yeah. What are you saying?
They used everything about
natural
nature.
clock?
They used everything about nature. What they see and hear.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? They will observe the sun to know when it's harvest season or whatever, the same as the moon. You know what I'm saying? They would listen to birds. They would listen to birds and roosters and other animals and shit that would be on their own little routine or whatever to know when it was time to wake up for work or to wake up for school. They use nature's time. That's why roosters steal crows every morning at the same time.
Right. What you said. Exactly, man.
And it's the same exact time, no matter if the clocks are set back an hour or ahead or not.
Right.
Every morning,
Exactly.
at 5 o'clock,
Right.
that rooster would be the same. It would be the same word for him.
And see, I mean, to go along with that, your body has an internal clock because, like you said, if you're waking up at 9 o'clock every morning without that alarm going off at 9 o'clock, your body automatically wakes up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your internal clock, which is not ruled by numbers and ticks, other than our heart. But yeah. It's a pattern.
Right.
Everything moves in pattern.
Right.
You know.
You get your body in that your body will get itself in that pattern.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Which
How many was that? 17, I believe. I think it's 17. Huh? Okay. Cool.
let's see.
Got you. Heard. Right there, man. What I do is take my scraps off my filet mignon and grind it down and make burgers. You know what I mean?
That sounds pretty good, though.
Oh my God, oh my God. Like I'm making me a burger right now. I'm gonna put the cheese on it, and then I make this onion jam that I put on it. But I'm gonna put steak sauce on it because it's like a steak burger.
Mm-hmm. You there? Uh-oh, you went out. What happened? Oh, there's okay.
Hello?
Yeah, you good.
Okay.
That was my
All right.
stereo speaker that went out. You good, fam?
Heard. Okay. Let me get. And I'm making some gravy at the same time.
Give me a second.
Get this out the way.
All right. Yo, can you see my screen?
Oh, let me see. Hold on. Yep, I can see it.
All right, good.
Yes, sir. Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Gravy right.
Do what? What'd you say, James? I didn't hear you, bro.
What's up?
I said, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. The hell is that? Now I'm gonna see if that video will play again.
Shoot, how many we got on tomorrow morning?
I don't know, I'll take it.
Yeah. That's what it's going to depend on.
You want out of here?
2, yeah.
Hey, mute your mic real quick, JB.
Okay.
We have video.
That's it. I watched that right there. Yeah. I remember watching this shit right here. They were, man, I was laughing my ass off when I
I'm gonna
watched
mute
that
you real
fucking
quick,
shit
fam.
that they were doing.
Nah, I had to mute you real quick. Give me a second.
From space of the rotating spherical Earth.
It doesn't want to play.
People in a hurry. What? We just happen to have a copy right here.
No, it just happened.
See that?
I swear we didn't plant the book. I have an entire chapter titled
Anyway, forget it. It's not gonna allow me to play it. Probably because I'm doing too much streaming activities. But it was one part in the video. He said, the spirit, it's like we have videos of a spherical rotating earth. So, but he said, I can see how over time that it was, it flattened out, or it looks flattened out as it was spinning. How the fuck can you morph land, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was something that had texture or whatever to flatten, but no, it's this solid foundation surface, solid surface foundation, man. How the fuck would that flatten out? Cause if that the shit he was saying didn't even make sense. Which we're actually going to build on mass real quick. I think I got about 20-30 minutes to put in. The law of conservation of mass, or principle of mass conservation. So, how could something that massive flattened out? That means how was something that massive flattened out, man? And then they had little fuckboy here co-signing everything he says, cause he's the real bitch in this situation. I mean, pay attention to detail. Look at the orange. Look at the 3 orange chairs in the background. Right here. Side by side. You don't see no tables. Excuse me, you don't see no other chair with the exception of this one around the table. But they got these 3 orange chairs right there in the background. 3 orange chairs and three beams. Look. You're 33. Come on now.
Hello?
It always play here.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. You don't want to play, fam.
I mean, you gotta close the door. You on the phone? I'm trying to cook real quick.
Let's see. Oh, that green. Too much pink in the sky, so I can't go. God is trying me. It says important. God is God to heal. Right. I haven't even read the chat yet.
The leading star thinks that about 15 more minutes to turn on the speed.
Damn. She said the whole sky, yesterday, the whole sky, east to west, was pink at sunset. She said it's like it's not natural. You still at work? I said you still at work? So, as we're reading this, it says the law implies. Hey, mute your mic real quick, fam. Yo, mute your mic real quick, homeboy. Jay. You didn't even hear me. Yeah, I'm going to mute you. So it says the law implies that mass can neither be created nor destroyed, although it may be rearranged in space. You see how they threw that in there? Rearranged in space, or the entities associated with it may be changed in form. For now, it's not going to confuse just because we see the word space. It's not talking about outer space. Okay, they're talking about space in between the atoms and space in between the two objects. Okay? For an example, chemical reactions, the mass of the chemical components before the reaction is equal to the mass of the components after the reaction. Thus, during any chemical reaction at low energy, thermodynamic processes in an isolated system, your total mass of the reactants or starting materials must be equal to the mass of the products. You understand that? So, if space is void, how can any heat fusion processes way down outer space in a void could happen in a void, and to create to create something from nothing, when the law clearly states that it can't be created. And when I think about it, this right here, we can use this whole thing right here. This right here also applies to debunk the end of the world bullshit. Because Earth cannot be created nor destroyed. Basically, the conservation of mass, and Earth is so massive, right? What up, Huey?
What it do, JTZ? What's up with you, brother?
Shit was good, man.
Okay. What you doing on, brother?
Huh? What's that?
Good or no?
Oh, part two, just picking up from where we left off.
Yesterday. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What's been up with you though,
Just
bro?
gonna catch up. I'll catch you when I catch up in my
Yeah, I didn't realize how late it was. I'm probably gonna put in another 10 minutes, and then I gotta go get my boy from school. I didn't realize how late it was when I started streaming. But but I definitely would like to continue part two, because I really didn't go in due to the time and everything. I really didn't go in like I wanted to today. But right now, um, I just came up with a theory that the Earth is neither the Earth is so massive, right? If you see that, according to the conservation of mass, the Earth is so conservative and massive that I don't think the Earth was created, for the simple fact we know it can't be destroyed. Meaning, I believe the Earth was already put here. Did nothing created. It's always been here. Because if the Earth was created, no matter how you
that
look
was
at it,
put had to be created. If you put something somewhere, it had to be created to be put there, right?
but if you think about it, if you say that Earth was created, this right, it also breaks the law, breaks His law. I'm thinking the Earth can't put here, but it has gone through a bunch of changes through the seasons, the
All of that.
climates,
If it's created, it's breaking what law?
huh?
What law is it breaking if it can't?
It would be breaking the conservation of mass, because we were all taught that the Earth is so massive, right? We can't see the curvature. The Earth is so massive, it's so huge, right? This law applies to that as well, though. That if Earth is so massive, right, and we know that nothing can destroy this Earth. That's what I believe. That's a theory of mine, an opinion of mine. I don't believe the Earth can be destroyed. So if it can't be destroyed, it has to be fair and not be created as well, in order to keep the law, due to its massive size. Conservation of mass. It's been protected. The Earth can't be destroyed because we protect it. As above, so below, we're protected.
We project it through our memory, right?
I said protect. Protect. We protect it. Go ahead. You can go ahead and build on that. Let me go ahead and read the chat. Let me see what the chat got going on. Underdog. You want to join, homie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what you say that again? I can't hear what you were saying. I was getting on my Bluetooth.
I said because the earth, if if this if this law is 100% fact, 100% saying bad words, that means that the earth was never created. It was already here. Because we're protected. We know we can't be destroyed, right? Because we're protected. As above, so below. So we can't be
Right.
destroyed. That means that we couldn't be created either. Because the earth is so massive. This is what we all been taught, right? The earth is so massive. We can't see the curvature. It's too massive to see the curve. We're too small to see the curve. You know, it's massive enough to carry the moon, and if the earth is so massive, that means it was never created. It was already here. Because you saying that the earth is created, no matter how you say it's the source of the creation. Now I'm not denying that there's a creator. I know there is, but the earth was already here, and the creator was already was here to add creations to the earth, to change it, right? Rearrange it around a little bit.
The creator created the earth and everything in it, man. Everything on it, but everything in it, or everything on the flat plane.
It created everything on the plane, but what I'm saying, I don't think that the creator created the plane itself. What I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is that hold on, but yeah, he created that. But what I'm saying here is that the the creator created everything, made everything that was made everything on the earth. It's like the creator and the earth was here at the same time, but as equals, I should say, because if that's the case, it would break this law. We can't say that it was created and then turn around and say it can't be destroyed. We know it can't be destroyed, so it's only safe to say that it was never created from the get-go. It was already here.
I don't know why you say it can't.
What would break what law?
We destroying it right now every day. Motherfuckers destroying it every day. The ozone layer and everything else.
I kind of ruled out the ozone layer. I think the ozone layer was to push the fact that there's
the firmament. It's just like the firmament, so you can't rule out the firmament then.
No, I'm not ruling out the firmament because for the simple fact, this law says it does state it had to be in an enclosed system anyway. So the firmament sticks, or the possible dome or whatever, that sticks.
What?
That sticks.
I don't know, man. You lost me on that one, bro. Because the firmament and all that shit is all the same shit, bro.
Yeah, I know. I was saying the firmament makes us enclosed, and according to this, it makes us enclosed, and according to this law, you have to be in an isolated or enclosed system. Isolated means basically by yourself.
It means it refers to an isolated enclosed system.
Yeah, just what we are.
It doesn't state that that's what you are. It says that's what it refers to.
That's what we are, Gary. And nothing cause saying that the earth is created. Welcome, by the way.
Earth is not a closed system.
Are you sure? Because a lot of people say
it takes in sunlight.
A lot of it, it can do that if the sunlight is already here within the enclosed system.
Is the sunlight in the earth? Is it on the earth? Or is it above the earth?
Nah, the sunlight in here with us.
It's in here with us.
That means
it's above the plane, but it's above the plane, but it's in the same system with us. If you're trying to throw a trick question out there.
But see, on my model, the Earth is a planet. There's other planets that also takes in sunlight, but those are separate systems. We have our own ecosystem here on Earth. And that ecosystem is fed from an outside source, the sun. Is that it's in here with us. I don't even know what that means.
We can't make that claim. That is your claim. We can't.
What you say, Gary, that doesn't make sense because you say
What doesn't make sense?
Because you saying that we're not in a cold situation and that the sun is just out there penetrating all these other planets. But we can look and see with our own visual eyes that the sun is inside here with us, and it's not even big as the skyline, bro. So how is the sun outside of it?
Once again, from the model I'm using, the sun is 93 million miles away, and we are getting the light from 93 miles away, and we are a planet. There are other planets that we obviously can view.
Echoing. I said he was echoing. Yeah, I don't know.
The problem is, I heard Jamaican talking about he thinks of something, if he can prove something that's been created, can he give me an example of something being created? Are you there, Jamaican?
Yeah, a car.
Made of material that already exists. It's simply been configured into a specific configuration, but the stuff that it's made of was already here. So you just took matter and reconfigured it.
I understand that. Well, I'm saying that Earth was already here.
Matter that was created to
Earth was already here.
And be able to create it is made from the creation.
Well, when they say things can't be created, they don't mean that they don't change the configuration.
Earth was already here. Earth was already here with its creator that's already been here with it.
So you're saying matter is eternal in your opinion?
No, matter is
eternal.
Yeah.
I believe matter is eternal.
So you're saying God didn't make the matter, he just reconfigured the matter.
God is,
according to the law of conservation of mass. According to the law of conservation of mass, yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna give you controls real quick, Huey. Oh.
Gary, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead about what?
No, I thought you was gonna build on something else.
No, he's speaking to I think he's speaking about the second law. Do with an enclosed system. It does not state that the.
Man, how do you not know the law? This is the second time you got which order law it was. It's still the first law. The first law is always the biggest law. Okay.
It's always the biggest law because it's first.
Right. So why you keep on naming out?
What that means.
So why? So yeah. I mean, then they got other little. Then a lot of other laws got two or three side laws or whatever to back up the first law. But what I'm saying, I was going on the first law. The enclosed system, all of that is in the same first law. So what you talking about?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I'm still on the first law, bro.
First law. Okay. I don't think the first law states whether it's going to be open or closed.
I can't believe I have this shit. I have my visuals matching my audio on the screen in writing, and you still claim that what I say ain't posted, ain't stated, but then you turn around and say you turn around and make it like it's Michael. That's your claim when I'm showing you the shit that's on the damn screen. You impossible, dude. You really, really are.
And that's talking about all the law. Ain't just the first law.
Mm-mm-mm. We're out here all by ourselves according to this law. Thus, during a chemical reaction of low energy, which let them tell it, Earth was formed by chemicals and shit first before it hardened up and became a solid massive object. During any chemical reaction in low energy, thermodynamic processes in an isolated system. So Earth was created. It could not have been created around all this shit, clashing, cooling, heating, and all this shit, and be isolated. Isolated means by yourself, by
Yes, I
eye.
understand we're isolated, but did you read the entire
So you
thing?
went to the
Reading it out
IRS
of
or
context.
something?
So what? What up, James? Here, y'all go ahead and build with him real quick.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and build with him real. Y'all go ahead and build with him real quick. You know what I'm saying? I need to run up the street for about 5 minutes. Y'all go ahead and build with him for a minute. I gave you control to the panel, Huey. You gonna be on for a minute?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on for a minute. Hey,
All
Gary, can I ask you a question, brother?
Sure you can.
How long have you been part of the community and on the panel over now?
How long have I been a part of this community? I've probably been
Yeah.
talking to flat earthers for about 6 months, maybe 7. But
How long have you really been like investigating it, or have you been doing an investigation on it yourself before then, or?
well, me myself personally, I'm from the Great Debate community, and I was over there actually. We're speaking on other things, and somebody mentioned the flat Earth, and I thought they were joking. I was like,
Right.
flat Earth. Like they were talking to flat earthers, and I was like, what do you mean you're talking to them? Like, where did you find them? And he's like, there's a whole group of them somewhere on the internet, and I never actually came and spoke with you. And then one of y'all kind of bled over into one of our other conversations. Our community has been around probably a little bit longer than y'all, so.
No, I'm new to the community myself. I don't even know like it was like y'all's community type situation. I don't really know if like.
Yeah, we have a great debate community. We debate many topics. Flat Earth comes up every once in a while, but it's kind of one of the side ones because there's not really. Unfortunately, flat earthers don't have much to bring other than assertions.
You had went out, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, unfortunately, we do talk to flat earthers in the great debate community, but those debates don't. Well, they don't last long because flat earthers really don't have that much to bring. Y'all have a lot of assertions, but not that much to back anything up.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Wow. I mean, like even the fact that like just bringing the truth to like where the seed is, not even as much as more what we can prove or what they can't prove. You see what I'm saying? It's just
well, first of all, in our community, it's pretty well known that disproving another hypothesis or theory does not give validity to your theory. So if you're trying to bring flat Earth to our community, you're going to have to bring all the evidence. You're going to have to be ready to be under scrutiny on your position. And if you come and you present something and then say you don't know, you'll have to go look it up later. Well, that kind of ends the conversation because now
to the spinning ball theory then.
Well, yes, based on our observations, yes.
Just because that's what we was all taught. So we was all taught.
No, not because that's what we were all taught. That's based on our observations. It is consistent with what we.
Y'all have that that we can't.
Well, y'all have the same observations. Y'all make. It's like there's photos of the Earth. You can deny those are photos, but those are photos. You have no photos of the flat Earth, not a one. I saw a hangout the other day with Bro Sanchez where somebody simply asked him, it's like, okay, you see the globe here. You can see Africa, you can see Australia. Can you show me a picture of the flat Earth with a continent on it? And he couldn't do it. For over an hour, they asked him that, and he couldn't present.
I've seen him show plenty flat Earth Pictures.
Right. They asked him to show they asked him to show. It was very simple. Yeah, it was very simple, just to show a picture of a continent on the flat Earth.
I wish I could show one right now. Pull up.
I haven't seen anybody pull up anything because a picture of a flat continent. The size of them is too large in order for they would have to be seen on a curve.
Okay,
You would always see the edge.
I would say the landmass is flat, and that the dome is round.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit there.
Cells throughout this body of Earth that we know. I would say, me personally, I would say we're an celestial body, and we are just the cells within this body. You know what I'm saying? Operating. And we don't just know that we are cells. That's why we call ourselves. And we're just in another dimension of this world. And we are the cells of this inner body. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really believe. And the sun is a body, and the moon is a body as well. So you feel me? The universe, all of them is a different body, just like you got a body of water. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, you can look at it in a million different ways, but I can look at it and definitely say that it's not spinning and doing all of this movement, and it's just that big, and we can't feel nothing. But I can move at 1,000 miles, at 100 miles an hour in the car, and I can't stick my hand out. You know what I'm saying? Some shit don't make sense. Like,
well, hold on. When you're in a plane, you're in a plane and they go between 300 and 500 miles per hour. Do you feel like you're going? But you're in a plane. But do you feel anything while you're flying?
Right.
You feel while you're in flight, you can feel that you're going 300, 500 miles an hour.
So you telling me when the plane take off?
No, when it takes off, obviously, because you're.
Okay, so you ascend it, so you can feel the speed, and then when you get up, it levels out, so you can't feel it at an incline, right? So it levels itself out, so that lets you know that it's flying at a level state, and it's going around, so it's not nose down.
Yeah, but you weren't. Yeah, you weren't here when the Earth started spinning, right? So you couldn't feel it start to spin, right? It's already spinning. Hold on, but it's already spinning. So if no, I mean you wasn't here for the Earth to start spinning, right? It's been spinning since you've been here. It's already spinning, right? So if you're inside the plane, you're talking about when you take off. You're not going to. We can't get that point. We're in the plane and it's already in flight. Now, if it's in flight and you're sitting in your seat, you don't know you're going 300 or 500 miles per hour. You can't even feel it.
You know you're going fast. Just like I'm in my car. I know that I'm going 65 miles an hour. I might not get feel it, but I know that I can feel that I'm moving because I'm in this car.
But how?
As we moving. What you mean?
Yeah. But the reason you know is because you can. Hold on. The reason you know that you're moving is. Right, but you just told me you should be able to detect how fast the Earth is spinning, and you can't. There's no way for you.
Well, how do they detect it?
How do they detect it? Because you're going
the sun is away from the moon. What do they? If I can't detect it, how do they detect it? How do they know
how far do they know? Well, the reason they know how far away the moon is because they put a mirror up there and they know where the mirror is. They point it up there and they're able to tell you back. They have laser radar that they can find.
How fucking big is the mirror?
I don't know. I don't know how big the mirror is they put up there.
On the moon, bro. Do you hear this shit you said? You said they can tell
you didn't know that?
how far the moon is because they put a mirror there.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Before, how did they know how far to get to that motherfucker before they put the mirror there?
No, they went to the.
Know how far? Okay, fuck this moon. How far? How do they know how far the sun is? How do they know
the sun?
The sun is 93 million miles away?
Well, that's an estimate, but it's done with mathematics based on trigonometry, based on its positioning.
It's 93 million miles away. How do you estimate 93 million miles away? What do you use to estimate?
You would use trigonometry first. You would do the math.
Trigonometry, bro. That's trigonometry, bro.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a semantical argument. Just because trigonometry is a math.
Because that don't make sense. Were you saying that is trigonometry?
Wait a minute. Are you saying math? Are you saying math isn't real?
Fucking right.
Math isn't real. If math isn't real, you're delusional. There's no speaking with you if you don't understand that things add up to be a specific way. If you understand that we use
Because
I'm sorry?
they all of their dimensions is wrong, bro. Time is not calculated right.
Wait a minute. So,
what
what if I told you trigonometry could? Hold on, let me ask you something. What if I told you trigonometry could confirm the flat Earth? Is trigonometry wrong then, or is it just wrong because it goes against it?
No, I would say prove it.
Prove it.
To me, how they use trigonometry or trigonometry. I'm gonna stop saying it. Prove to me how they use trigonometry to come up with the distance of the sun from here. You feel what I'm saying?
I'll try to point you to a video where they actually do the measurements because I don't do math. I'm not a mathematician, so I can't do math at that level. But
I'm just saying, what do they use? I mean, common sense though. This is what we use in common sense though, right? If you're using something to know the distance of something, you had to know how to measure it with a ruler or trigonometry or whatever the fuck. How you measure distance?
Yes.
All right. So if you can't get close enough to something because it's too fucking hot in the first place, how do you measure the distance of something if you can't even get close enough to it in the first place?
Well, first of all, the ways they measure it has to do with the fact that we get sunlight here, which gives us a clue to exactly where it is based on shadows and everything like that. So from there,
get sunlight compared, like you
correct.
Right?
You are correct. But based on the angle and everything else, we're able to do those to gather that information, and from there we can base our information from there in order to figure out the distance. That's also how they figured out the circumference of the planet as well. So I took a ruler and went all the way around the Earth to measure that.
You saying that all you do is say everything that we was already taught. You feel what I'm saying? Like, show us how
everything you know has been taught to you. Can you give me an example of something you know that you hadn't been taught or learned? Because we share our information, we give information to our offspring.
A lot of shit I probably couldn't tell you. I would have to show you that, well, how I get it. I will have to learn from, I say myself, taught to myself, because I get it from the out of the fucking sky, bro. But you wouldn't even know nothing about that. I don't know. You don't
know. No, there's no one taught you to read or speak English from the sky.
I didn't say everything. I didn't say everything, but it's some things that I have obtained without nobody teaching me, and knowledge that I have learned, and I hear even other brothers speak about that I have just got from, you feel me, somewhere else that it's just there. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, this is the thing that always get me about flat earthers. They say this is what you've been taught or what you've been learned. No one got up and just started saying the earth was flat. This information was given, the flat earth information was given to you as well. You're just accepting that information over this information.
No, I never thought that we was on the outside of a ball spinning. It never made sense to me for my whole childhood. Whenever they said about the globe and how we was spinning on the out, how they showed the globe, I knew we wasn't sticking to the outside of a ball spinning. It doesn't make sense. I never agreed to that. I never in my life agreed to that. I was always a delinquent kid. I always had fucking. I was disobedient. I never disobeyed shit that they said. And my teacher would always be like, "Why are you like this? And you're so smart." Because I don't want to hear this bullshit shit that y'all telling me.
Well, are you doing it? Are you denying that the obvious facts to be a rebel? Is that what it is? Do you think it makes you rebellious to go against the grain?
No, I wouldn't say that. Let me ask you this: when you debate, Gary, you do face to face?
Yeah, occasionally.
Do you have a camera on your thing? Do you mind if I see you? Because I've been on here all this time and I never see you on the other side. But I'm always like live and direct.
Okay.
So I can just see who the person is. I've just never seen you on my dime personally. You know what I'm saying? Just
okay.
Personally, just my thought. And it seems like you always pop up. You do pop up a lot when I pop on. As soon as I pop on, it seems like, God damn, here you go again. But I never see you, bro. And I would love to see who I was talking to face to face. There you go, brother. There you go.
Yeah, I usually have my camera off. Yeah, I usually have my camera off because of bandwidth.
You get a perspective when you look at a person. You feel what I'm saying? So then I can read you. I can read your energy. And I can just make sure who I'm dealing with and know that you're a real person and not a computer. How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
I respect
no,
that.
Usually I turn my camera off.
Still ain't did.
So I have my camera off due to bandwidth. It helps keep the hangout running a little smooth if you don't use that much bandwidth.
Okay, that's what's up, brother. That's what's up, brother. Well, I was just asking that, but yeah, man, I really, I'm not a rebel just against the bullshit, but I do like know it's a lot of bullshit. You wouldn't agree that they teach us a lot of bullshit, brother?
We have a lot of bullshit. I don't know if they teach us a lot of bullshit.
Also, you don't think that they teach us shit that's just to keep us misguided and miseducated and think that we're being educated in the you don't think that they program us to be like employees and don't really like push us. They
When you go to school,
normally
they're teaching you basic information, and from that basic information, they want you to, of course, take basic information and build upon it. But if you want to deny just the basic, huh? Yeah, yourself.
To build upon find knowledge for yourself, truth for yourself, basically, right?
Correct, but you have to have that basis. And then if you, from the basis, you can decide what you want to go into. If you want to go into astrophysics, then go into it. But don't sit out on the fringe and deny the work that the people who've been putting that in for life, and everything else
Yeah,
that they have it wrong.
if they was mislead, yeah, I believe they misguided us on a whole lot of shit. I'm looking at this motherfucker right now. I'm looking at this cloud in front of me. That motherfucker stationary. Ain't nothing around me moving. Not nothing, bro. Not the goddamn sun. Not nothing moving, bro.
The sun isn't moving. It's not going not where it was this morning.
Yeah, the sun is moving, but it's moving at a slow pace. What I'm saying, the earth is not moving. The sun is moving. You're right. But if you go by your theory, the sun isn't moving. It says that the sun is stationary and we're moving around it. But that is not true. The sun is moving around us. You just said it.
I said you can see the sun moving, but that is what you said. You don't see anything moving, but you can see the sun moving, and your hypothesis is that the sun is moving, and mine is that we're moving. The sun is stationary.
You're moving. Yeah, you're right. You're moving, and the sun is moving as well. But when you move, the sun moves. If you move and you turn around, the sun will face your back, and it go to your side. If you turn the block, it'll come to your other side because you moving and you moving your direction around the sun, right? But if you fucking sit at your house, the sun will be stationary and it would fucking move out of your light. If you sit there and watch the sun at your house, that sun will go past your house and your house ain't gonna fucking move. But if you get up and move, that sun gonna move with you. It's gonna look from your perspective like the sun is moving, but it's fucking it's really that the sun is moving, but you're in the landmass is stationary. Bro. And the sky, you can see the sky, the clouds, and all that shit move, just like the sun.
So in your opinion, the sun is moving.
Yes, the sun and the moon move.
So what causes the sun? What causes the sun to move?
Is what moves. You know what I'm saying?
What energy?
Negative energy of the world. It's just this positive. That's what everything moves off of. Your car can't operate.
And it comes from where?
Operate with a positive and without the positive and negative energy, which is the masculine and feminine energy of the world. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, but where's this energy coming from? This energy coming from that can continuously move the sun?
Facts.
Where is it coming from?
It's coming from the universe. Everything is connected. It's like a given full energy. It's like a positive and negative force. The yin and the yang. They all got a natural energy that's all created. Just like the wind got its own natural energy.
Yeah, but where's the source?
Wind moving don't mean that it's not here. The source is, we are the source. This is everything. The source is the all creation, is all the source. The source is the positive and negative energy.
Okay.
Within the sky, within it.
Okay, this is the problem. In science, they want you, when you have a hypothesis like what you have now, it has to actually explain something. And you're not actually giving an explanation. You're just saying energy from nowhere.
Everything explains. Look, you look at that as above, so below, right? It's just basic shit, bro. It's basic.
Yeah, these are little catchphrases. I need a robust explanation of what you're talking about.
You got Father Universe and you got Mother Nature, right? You got the sun and the moon and the stars, the same shit as above. And the energy was forever infinite, bro. Just like you say, energy can't be created or killed, right? It can only be transferred. So the energy is always forever going. You cannot kill the energy. So they transfer their energy from above to down below into man, woman, and child down here on the ground. And as above, so below. And this is what we're operating as. Simple, man. The sky, and the universe, right, is the fucking landmass for sun, the moon, and the stars. Guess what our landmass is? This fucking Earth. As above, so below. And
yeah, but you need a next.
It's a given a full situation. It's a positive and negative charge as above or below, and the energy is in between us, and it's bouncing up and down from the sky to the ground. That's why they don't want to keep us grounded. If we take our shoes off our feet, we will be more grounded. See, this rubber soles and shit on our cars and all that shit keep us from being grounded to the earth. You have to keep shit grounded. If we was grounded like the trees and with the universe and everything like that, we would be connected with the fucking sky. We'd be able to change the weather. We'd be able to adapt our body to the weather of the universe. And we would be connected with the fucking earth, just like the fucking animals is. That's why they can withstand weather and rain and cold weather and still maintain, because they connected with the universe.
Okay. The only thing I was going to ask you is we just need an explanation of how the sun is being moved, and you say it's by some kind of energy. Where is the source of it?
Energy always moves. It's energy stable. Does vibration move? Frequency moves. Vibration is always moving. My voice is moving. It travels because it's vibration, frequency, energy alone just moves, bro. That's why it's moving, because there's a infinite.
I understand. But how did you detect this energy, and how did you confirm, where is the source of this energy?
What you mean, how did I detect?
Well, your claim is that there's some kind of energy that makes the sun propel or move around the earth. The question is, where does this energy come from, and what did you use to detect that energy?
Just keep asking the same question. I just told you the everlasting energy, bro. The energy came from the source. It's a part of the source. It is the energy, bro. It's the energy,
that's not actually what did you use to detect it? What did you use to detect the energy that causes the sun to move?
I use nothing. I'm using my body to use the energy to detect. The sun make me move. The sun give light. Water give light. The sun give the light water. Water is all in the atmosphere. Just the same.
So do you have a way to confirm that there's a energy that makes the sun move?
What you mean? Don't. That's your own source. Right there. Look at it. You look at it. You look at the sun move. What you mean? Do I have a device to detect?
It's not a device. What?
Eyeball. Use a camera.
Okay. What observation did you see? What observation did you see to show that there is a energy moving the sun?
We are energy. What is current? What is energy? Everything that happens, we are moving right now. Energy is moving from the seed to the apple, and the energy grows, and the energy grows into the apple, it grows, and the energy grows, and it falls, and it gives me energy to live, and it replenish the earth. That's the energy. That's what I'm saying. Everlasting energy is a give situation. We supposed to give to the universe, and the universe will give to us. By the trees give us oxygen, and we give the trees oxygen and dioxide, so they can breathe and they can live, and we can live. So they can, it's a continuous situation. If you break anything out of the goddamn chain of command, then everything, it will be a domino effect. And that's what's happening right now. They disconnected us, so it's a domino effect on the world.
Okay. Yeah, I got to go back to work. But unfortunately, I've asked you a couple of times to explain, to give some kind of explanation of how the sun moves. Well, so far that seems to be the case. Well, the thing I was asking you is, if the sun is moving, then there's something that's causing it to move. And you said energy. So I was like, what experiments, what tests did you do to confirm that there's an energy causing the sun to move? And then where is this energy coming from? And you have given no explanation of that.
I'm the sun, and I'm moving right now off the energy, bro, that I'm getting from the earth, bro. Water, air, all of this shit is what creates movement, because you can't move with nothing, bro. So what else do you want to explain, bro?
Is your car moving?
Money.
Let me ask you something. Is your car moving?
Yes.
How is your car moving?
What makes it move? You tell me what makes it move. It's a combination.
Well,
of
one, you have an internal. What? No, you have an internal combustion engine in your car that runs off a fuel source that causes right.
Just the fuel source alone ain't gonna run it. It gotta have that positive and negative charge from the battery to connect up and be able to run.
Well, no, that's just the electrical aspect of the system, and that has
an aspect of the universe. That's the same electrical aspect of the universe. The sun.
Excellent. So can you show me? Can you show me the engine that makes the sun move?
The earth, the water, me and you.
How's that?
What you mean? Because
how?
we're one and the same. We make each other move. Just like I said.
No. Like I can tell you exactly how an internal combustion engine works from stem to stern.
This is how energy move, right? I go to work to obtain some fucking current, which is, some currency, which is a form of energy, right? The only way that this money can move is if it touch my hand and I move it to another location and buy some shit.
No, okay, look, I'm asking you for an explanation of how the sun moves. Just like I can tell you how your car is moving down the road. I can tell you how that engine works from, I can tell you how the engine in your car runs.
How does electricity work in your house?
Electricity that works in my house is being delivered from a pole from either a nuclear reaction, a nuclear reactor,
Okay, I'm back, y'all.
No, but you haven't showed you. Look.
I was to explain how internal combustion engine works. How the pistons are there's a mixture of gas and then an electric spark at the head of the pistons, all firing in a specific sequence in order to cause motion to turn the crankshaft and then propel the car down the road. That's an explanation. Me sitting here saying that the engine has parts in it that makes it move and work, that's not an explanation. I'm asking you for an explanation of how the earth, the oceans, and everything else cause the sun to move.
To make it work. And if you put gas in it, it'll make it run. But if you ain't got no gas, it can't run. And if your battery go bad, that motherfucker ain't gonna run either.
What does the gas in the battery have to do with the engine? That's what I'm asking you about the sun. You can name all the parts. You can say it has an alternator. You can say it has a water pump. But unless you tell me how those parts actually function inside the engine, you're not saying anything. Just naming the parts of an engine doesn't tell me how that engine works. So I'm asking you, in your model, since the sun is being propelled by the oceans and the earth, how that system works. How is it a system at all? You need to put it together.
I said, just because I'm not answering the way that you want me to answer it, don't say that I'm not answering. Because I done answered it 10 million times. Just say that I'm not satisfied with your answer, or that's not correct, or that's not right. Or just don't say that I'm not answering when you done asked me the question over and over and over and over and over again, and I keep answering the question, and you saying that I'm not answering the question, bro. That gets
because you're not telling me you're not telling me any kind of process. You're telling me the ocean, the earth. Like, how do they play a factor into the motion? Like, how do they play a factor?
They don't play in it because they are the fucking what give life, bro. You can't breathe without fucking air and water and the fucking sunlight, the heat, the vitamin D and the sunlight and all that shit to fucking heat your body up. So you can't move. How you gonna move without water? You tell me that. How are you gonna move without water in the sun? Can't. That's how they move. Because they can't move.
Okay. Yeah, either you're not comprehending or you just don't know the answer to the question. So
I'm not understanding what you're trying to get, bro. I just told you how the sun is operating, bro. The sun gets energy, bro. And the sun gives energy to the earth. And
we'll go even simpler for you. Can you tell me how mousetrap works?
Does a mousetrap got to do with the sunlight?
I'm trying to figure out if you understand how you can explain a system works.
Here's the thing: you can't compare a mousetrap. You can't compare. Not only is a mousetrap, you can't compare anything mechanical to something that's pure energy. A mousetrap is a complex machine, okay? because it uses
Yes, can
more.
anyone on this panel show me how explains how it functions?
How does energy function? If the sun is pure energy, how does energy move? It moves in
Can the
waves,
sun
right?
is pure energy? The question again is, can anyone explain the function of a mousetrap, how it functions?
Oh man, fuck the function of that. You talk about how
It
does the
functions.
sun get energy? Because energy move. Does not energy move forever, bro. You can't stop energy from moving.
It functions with a spring and a lever. Duh.
So that's
Next
the only two
question.
aspects of it?
That's all it is. That's all it's complex. That's all. It's a compound machine. It uses a spring and a lever to
Five
complete.
parts. Trap has 5 parts.
It might have five parts, but the mechanism that causes it to operate, it only needs 2 parts.
You say the parts. After he said
Yeah.
that, I can say the parts and the fucking shit don't matter. Now you gotta say that you said that it was the fucking springboard. Now that don't matter.
Because the wood that it's attached to, has no function at all into how it operates. The only thing that operates is the spring in it and the lever that's holding the spring back. That's it.
If you had a spring and
I'm
a
sorry.
lever only, you can have
A
a
pin.
mousetrap, or do you need the base?
You're not finna switch this around. It's 5 parts, but it only.
This is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand.
It's only 2 parts. It's only 2.
Explain.
It's only 2 parts needed to. It's only 2 parts needed the way it works. Yes, it needs a base or whatever.
5 parts to a mousetrap.
I got that. Stop repeating yourself. But I said it's only 2 parts that it needs to function. Filling up the bases is one of the parts that helps the foundation to it. But you can compare. This is what I'm talking about. It's too complex for you to understand. You cannot compare a complex machine. You cannot compare a complex machine to a phenomenon that's pure energy.
No, listen. I'm trying to get you to get down to a basic explanation of how the sun rotates around the earth. But to do that, I'm trying to see if you could just give me an example of a basic machine, which is a mousetrap that has 5 parts, and tell me how those 5 parts are related to making that trap work. And you literally just told me you only need 2, which is wrong. You have to have all 5 parts for the mousetrap to function as a mousetrap.
The part that doesn't function itself is only 2 parts, is what I'm saying. True enough, without the other parts, without the other 3 parts, yes, the 2 will not have nothing to sit on to function. So I know it needs a base, a spring, the lever, the pin, and I'm missing one. That's it. Oh, and the coil. That's it. Because some mousetraps do have a coil in it. But other than that,
no, you have the spring and the lever, right? But you also need the catch, and then you need the latch and then the base. Without those 3 things, there's no way you're gonna have a mousetrap. You're just gonna have.
I said the catch. This is what I was talking. This is what I was referring to when I said the pin that holds the catch in place. This is what I was referring to.
And that will function as a mousetrap. What happens is when a mouse hits it, it releases the latch, and then the spring will make the lever come over and snap to the base.
What does this got to do with the sun?
Well, this is a simple explanation of how you would explain something works. You wouldn't say the sun moves because the earth and the ocean. The adequate explanation. You need to continue on. How does the earth and the oceans cause the sun to move? You are not giving a full explanation. But I've been asking you for like the past 15 minutes.
It's a pull and pull situation, bro. It's like the wind, right? Just because the air and the trees not moving, right? And it ain't moving. Don't mean that it's not no air there and that.
Okay, yeah, and I go.
No, explain it to us, Gary.
I'm asking you for an explanation. It's his explanation. I can't answer it for him. I have to be able to actually tell me how the sun moves Earth and the ocean, and he can't do that. He just says energy. It thinks that's some kind of answer to answer everything.
If you would see think about chi, and you know energy, right? Energy is a source that pulls and pulls, just like a fucking magnet, right? If you pull the magnet to each other and you pull it to each other and don't fucking let them touch, right? The energy is still there. They're still pulling. They're gonna fucking move away from each other because it's tension, right? Because the fucking sun and the moon is above and the ground is right here, so it's a tension between the motherfuckers, and it's an automatic tension that moves, bro. If you
Hold
have
on,
tension,
let me welcome my brother Dojo to the panel. How you doing, Dojo?
Yeah, I'm
Dojo,
good, my man.
just chime in. You can chime in anytime you feel like it too, Dojo.
Well, my, you know, the question that I haven't heard anybody.
I don't know, something's.
Well,
Hey, you
yeah, well,
going, Dojo? You going in and out, fam?
oh, okay.
I heard like some static or something in the background. Go ahead. What was you saying?
I think we all should just mute our mic.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, this much better. All right, go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, I mean, I really don't have nothing other than just when we say the sun moves compared to the sun traveling, right? Then we can have a more of an understanding of the concept. According to the globalists, the sun is traveling at 650 million miles per hour. That's how fast it's traveling through this, what they call a universe. Now, when you say that the sun is moving, are you talking about the traveling through the universe or what we can see to the naked eye when we look up in our sky? Because the globalists will tell you that it's moving at 650 million miles per hour. As at the same time, we are orbiting a circle and revolving around that. Now, I do agree some math is justifiable. All math is not justifiable. I don't understand how someone can take data and make that data confirm what's factual without even having something practical. I get to it.
Would that having an experiment to back up the data? They get data from readings and stuff, but yet they can't examine or experiment those readings on a smaller scale to make the visual match the to make basically to make the visual match the audio and or make the data match the visual.
Well, they did the math. You can do the math yourself, but I don't think you will.
The math is not the problem. It's the experiment that backs. It's the experimentation that backs up the math to get what the math says. And it never does. We've looked.
What experiment are you talking about? You get the measurements and then you do the math. Are you saying that you taken the numbers and you've done the math yourself and that are incorrect?
Well, I'm saying the numbers they give us, whether we can do it ourselves or not, whatever they math they come up with, they should be able to experiment that on a small scale. The globe is never, and every time I ask more, a globe is knows way more about it than you do. They always say because it can't be the scale. It can't be the scale. That's why they came up with math and equations to explain it. That's not acceptable for me. If it can't be duplicated on a small scale, we can duplicate our observations. Everything we see with the sun, with the moon, with how water behaves, or whatever, we can duplicate that on a small scale. Anything about the globe you cannot duplicate on a small scale. Anything about the whole universe. Anytime they try to, just so that bullshit experiment won't incriminate themselves, they will always say not to scale. Like, for instance, when they talk about lunar eclipses, how lunar eclipses work, how it catches the shadow of the Earth or whatever. No one of them ever did an experiment on a small scale, but my brother Master Peace has, and the way he said, you actually got to watch the video. Eventually I'll put the video in the link or whatever. I mean, in the I'll put the link in the description box. But y'all definitely gotta go check out that Master P experiment of how shadows should behave when it's cast on a spherical object.
Yeah, I saw his video, and I thought he just proved his own point because he said that the shadow should take the shape of the object, and obviously we have crescent moons, so I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to point out.
What he's saying is crescent moons and all that wouldn't even happen because the shadow was still stretched. It was still stretched around until to fit the shape, to fit the exact shape of the object that is casting on. Like when you walking past, like when you walk under a street lamp. Like when listen, man. You try to have a rebuttal for everything instead of listening. Let me finish my point first. But it's like when you're walking under a street lamp and you see a shadow come from behind, then it circles around and then until it's in front of you and it stretches. Due to the Earth is moving through space and rotating at the same time, when it catches shadow, we should be observing that shadow on the moon as we do when we should see the same shadow cast on the moon as the Earth to mimic how the Earth's behavior is acting. It should be stretched. It should be stretched and circling around the surface of the moon. We do not observe that because that's how shadows work. No matter how big, the shadows work the same. No matter how massive or non-massive the object is. That's a natural physics of light.
How would you be able to detect the shadow being stretched on the moon?
Why wouldn't you be if the moon is supposedly 240,000 miles away? We should be able to detect that.
How would you detect if the shadow is stretched or not on the moon?
Because you would see it, just like you would see any other shadow.
What? You can see the shadow being cast on the moon, but then the space that's around it, you can't see anything. So how can you tell if it's stretched or not?
It was stretched on the surface that it's casting to. But
you do understand what you're saying makes no sense. Like the shadow would be stretched.
Because
which means you'll be able to see both ends of the shadow.
Because you're not listening, bro. Shadow stretch. Right? If you're looking at this pole, if you're looking at the shadow that the sun casting its shadow, bro, the shadow is gonna fucking stretch out in front of that goddamn spot, bro. What are you talking about?
How would you detect if it's stretched?
By looking at it.
No, not by looking at it. How are you looking at it and it's stretched? Point that out. You're not actually doing it. You just keep saying the same thing. How do you know it's stretched? What tells you it's stretched?
You would know if it's stretched because you would see.
No, not you would know. Tell me how you know it's stretched.
I keep telling you, you're not trying to.
No, you haven't said shit. You just keep saying it's stretched.
The shadow would be stretched because you would be able to see it. You would be able to see the light, the shadow that's being cast from the source of the light that's casting that shadow on there. You would be able, if the shadow was going around a spherical object, you would see it. From 240,000 miles away, you would see it. Unless the moon is local. Unless the moon is real local, closing the distance in between itself and the source of light, then you will barely see a shadow. Like, oh, fuck, like this. So you probably got to go to my you probably got to go to the watch page to see what I'm doing. Like, you see how these are casting shadows, but you can't see them because the brushes and stuff is low. I mean, it's close to the table.
Yeah, I don't see nothing.
Yeah, you have to go to the watch page. But hold on, matter of fact, let me just share my screen to this. I'll show you what I'm doing. Hold on. Let me take care of my little kid real quick. Let me take care of him real quick, and then I'll finish my presentation.
I gotta get back to work. Once again, I understand you saying a shadow is stretch, but
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
You have to be able to see both ends of it.
I'll be back, fam.
You know what, Gary? I realized that just as much as I was rebellious in school, like you said, right? You think that I just like rebellious, right? I think you like just the fucking debate just because you a part of the debate, motherfucker. You just want to be able to say, I debate everything. Because you just
No, I asked you a simple question. I understand. Look, if you're saying something is stretch, that means you can see the both ends of it. And you can see that it's spread out. But when you're talking about a shadow being casted on the moon, the shadow can be as big as you want to, and you're only seeing it cast on one. You can see part of the shadow being cast on the moon. How would you know it's stretched unless you can see the other two ends? But the only thing you're going to see is space around it, so you don't know if that shadow is stretched out or not. There's no way to tell. You're only getting the part of the shadow that's hitting that moon, but you don't know how wide that shadow is being casted. So how would you know it's stretched?
That's only if it was local, bro.
No, not if it's local. How do you like? If you're looking at a shadow and all you can see is where the shadow is casting, but you can't see the other two ends of the shadow, like you can't see where the shadow begins and where the shadow ends, how would you know if it's stretched?
You can know that the shadow is coming from over above, bro. If I'm looking at this building right here, right? I'm looking at this building, the sun is casting the shadow from over the top side of it, right? It's gonna.
Can you see both ends of the shadow?
What you mean?
Can you see where the shadow begins and where the shadow ends?
Fucking right. It begins at the beginning of the object, brother.
How? No.
Oh my God,
look,
bro! You telling me I'm sitting here looking at these shadows right here, and I can't fucking see that where it stops and where it ends and begins?
You can see hold on. Hold on, listen. You're looking at the shadow. Can you tell me the beginning of the shadow and the end of the shadow?
If you telling me from the shadow of your body, the fucking shadow off your human fucking body, you can't tell me where the shadow come from and where it end at?
Yes. You can see where your shadow begins and you can see where your shadow ends, and that's how you can tell it's stretched.
I can see that motherfucker right now to know that my shadow is stretched out because it's coming from my goddamn feet, and if I walk past a car, it's gonna stretch around the car because that's the object that it's taking. What you talking about, bro?
But
and I see where it's starting and where it ends. So I just proved that shit wrong right there.
No, listen, because you still don't understand. You can see the beginning and the end of that shadow. When the shadow is being cast on the moon, you're not seeing the beginning or the end. You're possibly seeing in the middle of the shadow. You can't see either end of the shadow. You don't know where the shadow ends and begins. So how do you detect if it's stretched?
So you saying I'm seeing when there's a half a moon, I'm seeing the middle of the fucking shadow of the earth to make it a half moon.
Are you talking about the phases or are you talking about an eclipse? Because the phases are different. Those are going to be
whatever, because there's supposed to be a shadow from the earth that's giving it to make it have those phases. Because the earth is
no, not for the phases.
Oh my God! So it happens for the half. What? All right. What does it happen for then? It don't happen for the phases of the shadow of the moon. But what phase? When does it happen then? On what?
When you get the shadow of the earth that's during an eclipse, the phases of the moon is because the moon casts its own shadow. You didn't know that part, right?
You said when the eclipse, right?
Yes.
What now?
I thought that's what we were talking about, the eclipse, because you started talking about the phases of the moon, which are different
We
than
just talking about shadow. We talking about shadow, bro. You talking about the
right.
shadow.
Yes, and when the shadow hits the sun, you're not seeing the
So that got to
totality
do with
of
the
the shadow.
phases
You're
of the
only seeing
earth
the
too as
aspect
well.
of it as it
That
hits the
can't just
moon.
be the eclipse because they got to do with the phases because that's deal with the shadow.
No, the phases are different. The phases is because the moon catches its own shadow, and that's what you're seeing.
And when we talk about the fucking all right, bro. I don't know. I don't know. How do I cast my own exactly? How the fuck do I cast my
Okay,
own shadow with another light source?
yeah, I gotta go. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, that dude be tripping.
Gary left, man.
Yeah, he left, bro.
I was sure finna ask that dude why he don't try to see y'all point of view on things. Like he don't even try to see the point y'all make. It don't make sense.
No, it don't make sense. Hold on, let me. Okay.
Bro, some of the shit he be saying, they be like, bro.
I know
Give me a second.
it. I know ain't
A
nobody
lot of
that
the shit he be
indoctrinated,
saying
man.
really don't be making no sense.
He can't tell him. He can't not make me believe he that deep in belief about that bullshit, man. Like, come on, dog.
Right.
I always got to question our shit, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, we got to have the answers for all these questions. And how is this? How is that? Man, damn.
This man pulled out the mousetrap.
Didn't he though? Like, how can you compare? How can you compare? How can you compare something mechanical to something nature? Nature is a simple machine. Nature don't need a bunch of parts to do one fucking function.
Man.
Those are little dumbass arguments that be pissing me off with these cocksuckers, man.
That's like asking, how does the wind blow?
Yeah.
Yeah, how does the wind blow?
How
Dumbass,
does
boy.
water get wet? How is water wet? Can you explain to me how water get wet?
Right. How does water get wet, man?
Like,
You can't just
the
tell me
way
it's
he
water. You can't tell me it's like with water because that ain't gonna explain it to me. That ain't gonna.
that dude sound like Neil deGrasse Jr.
So I appreciate y'all coming through or whatever.
I can't believe nobody
Thank
that
you.
program, man. I used to know all
Thank
of
you
this shit
again.
about the
I should
globe
be
and
back
man. I
later.
done damn near
Until then,
forgot all of this stuff I
always
learned,
be
man.
kind to each other. Be kind to each other.
I
Stay true to
retaught
yourself.
myself all
Stay
of this
flat. Keep
shit,
it
man.
flat.
I
Class
forgot all that
dismissed for
old
now.
shit.